Hi everybody, it's Charlie. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna play some more Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. I want to apologize in advance that it took so long to get this video out there. I've been really sick, I still am, so I'm sorry if you can hear it in my voice, but I've been really struggling with my lungs. So I hope this is gonna end well. So yeah, here we go. Night 15. So we have no other option than to rest, so that's what we are going to do. Waking up tonight feels different for two reasons. For one, you are pleasantly surprised that your body mended reasonably well while you were resting. The hunger you feel is pronounced, the beast like a black dog on the edge of your vision following you. But what is truly remarkable is waking up to the tune of an old cell phone ringtone. An unknown number is calling the phone you got from Mia. You pick up. Kept that old thing charged after all, huh? You alright? No, actually I feel like shit. Look, that's too bad, but I don't really care. I was just being polite. I'm calling with good news. Torque has agreed to meet you. There's a pub in the Bronx, Solids and Stripes. Be there tonight. Two things. No drinking on the premises, so if you want to grab a snack, do it before setting foot in the borough. And this is an exclusive no powers meeting. We'll be rubbing shoulders with commoners the whole evening. And also, we don't trust you, so keep it casual or you'll blow it. Anything you'd like to add? Yeah, I met Callahan yesterday. He kicked my ass and forbid me from meeting Torque. I'm not sure I should be there tonight. Silence on the line. Fuck. More silence. I can't promise you any protection on your way here or back, but at the pub you'll be in Torque's domain. For all his posturing, Callahan doesn't have the balls to strike Torque directly. We'll post additional lookouts on watch. That's the best I can do. If Callahan got under your skin, I get it. I was in that spot once or twice too. All I've got to say is the risk is worth it. If you don't show tonight, I won't blame you, but it's a one-time offer only. You gotta hedge your bets. Just don't do anything stupid. You meet with us tonight. It better be in good faith. She ends the call. First things first, you take the subway to New York Street Station. You walk to Front Street, retrieve your car, and weigh your options while driving back to your haven. I'm gonna feed. You've been doing this for a good few nights. You're getting a feel for it. You're learning what kind of predator you are and what kind of blood you crave. You're so caught up in yesterday's problems and this cloak and dagger debacle you're now a part of that the hunt feels almost automatic and casual tonight. A fragment of you surrenders control. Just minutes after you find your victim, coax them, and drink from them, you find you've forgotten their face and how they were dressed. It only hits you once you look at yourself in the car's rearview mirror. This was wrong. You can't let this become the norm. You hurt somebody. A human being. You're a monster. You need to stay mindful of this. You're a monster. But unless you let yourself off the hook, you can hold on to your humanity and not let yourself slide down this spiral. Instead of clearing your mind, this clouded it further, and you are still no closer to a decision. I'm just gonna go. Dangerous or not, you have to make the trip to the Bronx and meet with Torque. No detours. Best just get it over with. You take some basic precautions as you enter Torque's turf. You park a few streets over from where the pub is and walk towards it, while keeping an eye out for anyone suspicious. That kindred, for the most part, look no different than regular people, makes things complicated, of course. If you're being followed or watched, it's gonna be hard to tell. You reach the pub, shoot a final glance around. There's nobody suspicious around as far as you can see, and open the door. The smell of cigarettes is overwhelming. The whole place has an aura about it. A constant fog hanging right under the ceiling. The lethargic fans do nothing to disperse it. The constant crack of billiard balls and clinking of glasses tells you all you need to know about the clientele. Not a very vampiric place at all. You're wondering if you got the address right. You apparently did. Mia's here. She motions you over to one of the few tables around. Took your sweet time to get here? What, get cold feet? Never mind. Anyone follow you? Not that I know of. Fair enough. Before I introduce you, there's some outstanding business to discuss. I appreciate the help with getting the name out of Bruce. It's gonna be a tough nut to crack, his master. He is one of the lawmen. Times where they'd sooner align with us than the camp. Anyway, this isn't the night for history lesson. Torque's been waiting for you. He's been impressed by your work so far. Here's your chance to shine. Don't blow it. You walk towards one of the tables. A guy in a coat and hat leans over to take his shot. He is way ahead of his opponent. The table is clear of his balls, save for the 8-ball in a tricky position. Hey, they're here. Be with you in just a moment. The hit is fast, precise, and sent the black ball exactly where its player wanted it. His opponent lets out a frustrated sigh. That's that. I believe that's 150 American dollars, Joey. You want to pay up now or up the stakes again? The disgruntled man accepts his defeat and pays up, then declares he's going to grab another beer. To the victor go the spoils. Thank you, Candy. He turns his full attention to you. The man is good-looking, if somewhat gaunt and intense. His eyes especially seem to pierce right through to your core, but not in an unpleasant way. Name's Stark. I believe you're Diana. Sophie Langley's new plaything, is that right? You Anarchs too? How does everybody always know that? Word travels fast when you care to listen, fledgling. We wouldn't be talking tonight if I hadn't learned that a long time ago. Forgive my being real with you right off the bat, but I like to know who it is I'm dealing with. So here's something that I've been scratching my head about. If you're with Langley, and Langley's camp through and through, I'm told, what is it you've come to accomplish here tonight? Sophie Langley wants to meet with you. Don't ask why, she didn't tell me. She just said it had something to do with gathering allies against Boss Callahan. I'm here to arrange that meeting. Fuck? I knew nothing about this tea. Don't lie to me. Mia's furious. She's looking at the pool cue and at you as if she was figuring out the best combination for the two. It's fine. I appreciate the honesty. Even if you weren't straight with my second in command, that I don't appreciate. Well, ain't that an interesting proposition? You can't be seriously thinking about meeting up with Langley. She's hardline camp. It's a trap, it must be. It just might be. It just might. He looks at you, pierces you with his unnaturally keen eyes. He's about to say something when a door opens at the back of the room. Hey, Torque, you, got a guest. They're in the back. Mia, won't you be a dear and keep our new friend company? I'll see what the commotion is. Sure thing. Torque tips his hat to you and walks to the back, joining the man who called for him. Mia glowers at you, this time weighing one of the pool balls in her hand. She looks like she has half a mind to chuck it at your face. You gotta be quite happy with yourself, bluffing your way in here. I wish I did this differently, but it is what it is. I'm not proud of myself. You shouldn't be. You made me look like a chump in front of Torque. Here I was beginning to think you might make a good addition to our little family. There's a whole lot of trust you'll have to regain before that happens. Now, Torque appears from a door at the back and calls across the room. Yo, Mia, can I grab you for a second? Diana, get over here too. You go to the back room. It's basically a storage area with a single wooden desk. It's pretty cramped, especially considering there are 5 other people in here with you. Torque ushers you in and closes the door behind you and Mia. 2 burly dudes are holding somebody down. A familiar voice reaches your ears. Motherfuckers, you're gonna pay for this, you hear me? The boss is gonna fuck you up so bad you have no idea. Have you had the doubtful pleasure of meeting Mr. Soretti before, Diana? I've scored a settle with this fucker. Ew, you're fucked. You're so fucked you don't even know it, you stupid piece of shit. I should have ended you yesterday. The boss told you to stay away. You should have listened. That's a story and a half, ain't it? Vince, calm down now and tell me how many of your guys are still out here on my turf, Go fuck yourself, you're done. The boss will know this stupid piece of shit fledgling came here. He knows her with Langley. He knows what that means, Torque. No I don't. What does it mean, Vince? Now the boss can wipe you out. He'll just say you're sucking Langley's tits and all those buddies of yours? Gone. You're done, Torque. Well now, if that's the case, I guess ridding NYC of your toady ass won't make things any worse, will it? Actually, here's an idea. Vince mentioned that he beat you up yesterday. Did I hear that right, Diana? You want to repay the favor? I'm gonna do this. Gladly. Go right ahead. So I'm not sure if I'm allowed to stake him. So I'm just gonna hurt him a lot. You hit Vince once, twice. He's chuckling in the beginning, but you focus your blood for some extra oomph and keep hitting him. Again, more, until he stops laughing. He's bruised, battered, and broken. The 2 Anarch dudes let go of him and you kick him some more while he's on the floor. You only stop when you hear Torque's voice. Enough's enough, Diana. He takes an old pool cue and breaks it over his knee. Stake him and take him downstairs. Let's keep Callahan guessing about what happened to his favorite puppy. Mia takes a sharp piece of wood and jams it into Vince's chest. His features grow slack, his entire body inert. He doesn't even give out a yelp. The other 2 Anarchs take him out of the room. As entertaining as that was, I think Vince in his unmatched wisdom shared more than Callahan would hope for. This changes things. Ever heard about Operation Lights Out, Diana? It was a second Inquisition effort here in NYC. A single night of raids at a magnitude never seen before, or since. The Ivory Tower got away with just a few losses here and there. No major players were hit. They managed to find safe spots and stay out of the eye of the shitstorm. Us, though, we got hit hard. All over town. Heavens, we were rooted out. Entire coteries and safe houses gone. Just like that. Nobody saw it coming. I barely got out in one piece. Mia looks at him with concern and puts a hand on his arm. He shrugs it off, gently but surely. Others, like my child, Barb, or Mia Sire, extinguished. But you know who got out without a scratch? Callahan. We've thought about it for the past few years. How is it that Big B managed to excuse himself from the Staten Island Museum where we used to meet just before a van's full of guys in body armor show up? How is it that as my baby is burning up after being shot with incendiary rounds, I also see Doug Callahan running with his tail between his legs, pushing fledglings like you in the path of the SI? We think the bastard knew what was coming and he set us up. Not just us. Some of our brothers and sisters who got hit had some of the lowest profiles in the city's slick population. The moral of the story? Callahan is an opportunistic motherfucker. And If even his thickest followers suggest he's going to sell me out, then that's what he's going to do, as sure as the sun rises. He pauses for a moment. You see him reach a decision. He said something about Langley having an offer for me. It might be your fault in part that I'm at this juncture, but now's gonna be as good a time as any to listen what she has to say. I don't think that's wise, T. Well, what would you have me do then? You said it yourself, it's all this fledgling's fault. They brought this on us, so let's use them as a bargaining chip. Callahan wants them, Langley needs them, they're valuable. No, you're wrong. I'm just a pawn. That's why Sophie sent me here. Plausible deniability and all that. I'm expendable. The realization that you just summarized the entirety of the last 2 weeks or so hits you hard. But if there was a moment to be honest with yourself, it's now. Fuck! The man puts his hand on Mia's shoulder. She calms down a bit. We're afraid, Diana. But then, what else is new? It's a paradox, being who we are. The hunter one night, the hunted another. Master of the night, slaves to dawn, duality to everything. Mia, I understand your concern, but I need you to trust me like you did before. This is my call and my responsibility. You can give me shit about it later, like I'm sure you will. Count on it. He smiles, then takes a no bullshit look and points at you. 3 conditions. First, you come pick me up personally and bring me to the meeting spot. Anything goes sideways, it's your ass. Second, Mia's coming with me. No 2 ways about it. 8 eyeballs in the meeting. The 2 of you, the 2 of us. Nobody else. And third, the meeting is in public. Downtown, some spot frequented by mortals. We see you take us anywhere fishy, we check out and fuck you up as a message to Langley. I count on it not coming to that, though. You seem likable enough. The camp hasn't gotten its talents in you yet. Keep it up, and maybe you'll come to the same conclusion we did, in your own time. I'll make sure to repeat your conditions to Sophie. You do that. Best be on your way. Ask for me here when you need me. The bartender knows how to get in touch. Just ask him to put the owner on the line. Mia walks you to the door and accompanies you to your car. Listen, about what I said before? Yeah, what about it? I panicked. That's all that was. It was unfair, what I said. If anything is my fault, I'm angry with myself, and that makes me angry with you. Ugh. Oh, forget it. See ya. She starts walking back to the bar as you start the engine and head back to Sophie's apartment. Time to give Sophie the good news. She welcomes you as openly as ever, clearly excited to see you and for what news you might bring. Good evening, Diana. How's your task going? Have you something for me, perhaps? I did what you asked. The meeting's set up. Excellent. Experience any problems? Boss Callahan's goons grabbed me yesterday and forced me to meet with him. It was very clear that I cannot be seen talking to Torque or he'll have me killed. I went and did it anyway. I appreciate your dedication. I really do. I'm sorry if you got hurt. Thank you for following through. Well, let's hear it. What did Torque agree to? You relay the Anarch leader's conditions. You are to pick him and Mia up. The meeting should only include the full review and it should be held in a public space. Those are all fair enough. Although, I do worry about that Mia character. Tell me, do you think she's trustworthy? I met some Anarchs over the past few nights, and she was one of the more agreeable ones. She's fine, I guess. I see. Very well. As for the place, I wonder if they would agree to meeting in Hudson Yards, the vessel. Plenty of tourists visit that place, but if we go there after midnight... She seems to have made up her mind. Yes. Bring them there tomorrow night. Look for me near the top level. Do you think Thork and Mia will agree to meeting in the city? It's Camarilla territory. Won't they be too cautious to come here? They did ask me to pick the spot, did they not? It's public and in the open. They should love it. Pick 'em up at midnight, then drive back to Midtown. That's the plan. I'll be waiting as long as it takes, within reason. I'm counting on you, Diana. The final puzzle piece is about to find its way to its destination. After that, we'll all get our... Wait, we will all get our just reward. You, me, the Camarilla, even the Anarchs. I could kiss you. Yes, you'd like that. You desire it. She must have caught it in your expression. She smiles. A figure of speech, darling. Or at least it is tonight. But a few nights from now, who knows? I'm growing fond of you. And success whets my appetite for these kinds of things. The sexual tension in the room becomes unbearable until it suddenly disappears. Was this another one of Sophie's tricks, or an actual spark of arousal in both of your undead bodies? You certainly felt the blood flow through you for a short moment. The warmth in your groin takes you by surprise. You didn't think you could do that anymore. Or did you just imagine it? Use the rest of this night well, Diana, and rest. We are but a day's sleep away from shaking the city away. Okay, so we're not gonna go to the gangrel, we're gonna finish up with this guy, I think. Yeah. You've started to look at churches differently since you last encountered with Benoit. You're not sure what happened inside, but it was unavoidably real. You felt it. When Benoit mentioned that being in the presence of Father Anthony's fate would eventually kill someone like you, an undead being, you believed him. It doesn't seem to be very common, though. In New York, you pass thousands of people every night, and none of them have made you feel so afraid and insignificant. If you were to encounter someone like Father Anthony in the subway or a nightclub, you would know. There are many churches in the 5 boroughs, and you're pretty sure most of them don't contain someone whose faith can touch you in this way. Yet, you have become wary. You just might. Still, tonight the cathedral looks as before. A striking landmark acting as a symbol of faith for people who have no idea that vampires exist in their midst. From them, questioning to faith and myth are theoretical or philosophical for you. Those same questions suddenly define the meaning of your new existence. You sneak into the cathedral like an old hand, as if going to church had been a regular part of your life. Inside the cathedral is almost deserted. You're not sure if you'll be meeting Benoit alone. The idea of feeling Father Anthony's faith on your undead flesh freezes you with terror. Benoit is waiting for you in the front pews of the cathedral in the exact same spot where you saw Father Anthony. Worried, you approach, but you don't feel the touch of faith that shook you before. Benoit nods as you sit next to him in the pew. Aren't you worried about meeting here? What if your friend the priest returns? Don't worry, he's not here tonight. You've had some time to think. I'm guessing you found the touch of Father Anthony's faith hard to ignore. For most people, God's presence is a question of faith. When I talk with Father Anthony, it feels like proof. Benoit is fervent, intense as he speaks. It's clear these questions have consumed his existence. Perhaps they'll consume yours too. What do the kindred of the Camarilla believe? The old ones. It's true the elders are not always so good at teaching their childer. Maybe the Camarilla would function better if we all knew these stories. Benoit looks around reflexively to make sure nobody's listening. There are only a few people in the enormous cathedral, and they don't seem to be interested in two loners murmuring to each other in the front pew. It might seem like ancient history, but things that happened thousands of years ago. But time works differently for our kind. If the stories are true, there are Methuselahs still in existence, who walked the earth when Jesus was alive. The only problem is that old vampires lie. They adjust history to suit their egos. Hmm. Surely something was written down before the Masquerade was established. Of course, the Tremere have many interesting manuscripts in their libraries. I've seen a few. If you have the chance, I recommend looking at them. This is how the story goes. God cursed Cain as punishment for the murder of Abel. Cain walked the night, shunned by humanity, and drank blood to sustain himself. Even from the point of our origin, we are damned. However, the story becomes really interesting when we move forward. Cain creates more of our kind, often referred to as the second generation. They lived in the first city, later called Enoch, ruling openly over the city's human inhabitants. I see the first city as Cain's redemption. Cursed by God to wander, he remade himself as a ruler and a lawgiver, acting as an immortal shepherd to humanity. It only started to go wrong when the second generation began. The second generation begat the third, and vampires started to run amok. Vampires ruled openly over humans? Yes. According to the stories, Cain was a benevolent and just ruler, using his vast knowledge to bring a new age of prosperity. Of course, those stories were written by vampires. After the first city, Cain largely departs the story. Perhaps he was disheartened by the depredations of his descendants. The antediluvians went on to build a second city in imitation of the first, but it's doubtful their rule was just. There are people moving in the cathedral, and both you and Benoit have made sure none get close enough to hear you talk. Many of the people you've seen here have been elderly or disabled, so it's not surprising that you hear the squeak of a wheelchair. What alarms you more is that you overhear an older woman speaking in Russian accent mention Father Anthony. Let's find Father Anthony and see if he can help us. From what I've heard, he is an exceptional man. You turn to look and see two men and a woman. All three are in their 50s, clearly well worn by life. One of the men pushes the woman in a wheelchair. She's dark-haired and intense, seemingly only half in this world. Yeah, exceptional, but he doesn't like moths. The speaker is shorter of the men, more animated and worried. He was probably a strong man in his youth, perhaps even an athlete. His voice carries a Midwestern accent. Oh, so, okay. We're only interested in whether he likes black bodies. You and Benoit look at each other. This is bad news. Whoever these three are, they can't be good for you. We need to get out. Let's meet outside. Better not to call attention to yourself. You decide to move to the side of the cathedral and pretend to pray at an altar. You walk casually towards the side, away from the three approaching mortals. You feel their eyes boring into your back, but you force yourself to be cool. Benoit is nowhere to be seen. You blinked and he disappeared in a burst of speed. You're worried it was too conspicuous, but maybe the mortals missed it. You pretend to admire the architecture for a while before glancing back at the trio. They have settled at the exact spot you just occupied, apparently waiting for something, and conversing in hushed tones. Once you're sure their attention is elsewhere, you start walking briskly down the side aisle towards the exit. That was a close call. Who were those three? Did you recognize them? I might have. I'm not sure. They're stock of new, tenacious vampire hunters living in the city. One of them is supposed to be a woman in a wheelchair. For a second, Benoit looks at you as if he was wondering whether he should say something. There's one thing I've always wondered about the story of Cain. The traditions of the Camarilla put a lot of faith in the relationship between sire and child. You're supposed to follow the example of your maker, yet Cain didn't really seem to care for the vampires he embraced. Did he think it was a mistake to create our kind? My sire left me. Is that common among the kindred? Yes, unfortunately, the kindred are selfish and cruel. You know, I'm Sophie's child, and you're her protege. It's amazing that we share an appreciation for the mythologies of our kind, considering Sophie has a little interest in questions of the spirit. You stare at Benoit. You knew there was something he wasn't telling you. But in all the talk about Cain in the first city, you forget about it. Now, the only question is, what does this mean? Does Sophie know her child is talking to you? Probably not. Don't hold it against me, but I admit finding some pleasure in seeing you suffer the effects of Father Anthony's fate. I suppose that's the demon in me. I understand that you're bitter, Benoit, but I'm not your enemy. I'm sorry, I know that. It's just that sometimes I too get tempted by sin. You know, we should meet again. We've talked so much about myth, but maybe that's cowardly when the reality of faith is right in front of us. I'll introduce you to Father Anthony. You nod, unsure whether that's a good idea. Benoit walks away and you'll follow his example, not wanting to hang around the cathedral any longer. Okay. Let's sleep. Okay, so it seems like we've suddenly woken up. This is not your haven wit. It's a cramped space. You try to move your arms and find they are tied to your body. You can barely bend your legs. When you try to stretch your neck, you hit a cold ceiling. Am I in a coffin? I don't want to be in a coffin. I can't quite believe it, but this is a coffin, or something close enough to it. It vibrates slightly, but you can't hear any sounds coming from outside. It's entirely dark. You kick the front of the container. The only reaction is a dull metallic sound. You try using your fists, but there's not enough room to get a good punch in. It seems pretty hopeless. Some more tries. Nothing. This is bad. Suddenly the container is moved slightly. A moment of silence. An indistinct male voice shouting a muffled shot. Silence again. The lid comes off. What the? Hey you! I hope, are you kidding me? Ah! Tell me if you've hit the jackpot. What? Okay, let's get the fuck out of here. Seeing their faces is surprising, even more so in these circumstances. However, you'll realize the immediate danger and follow your companions out of the car and down the street in North Bronx. The van has crashed into another car. A familiar face, that of Kaiser's ghoul, Jackie, stumbles out of the wrecked sedan and slinks away into the darkness before you can call after him. The three of you jog away towards the line of the trees and take shelter under some branches. Just as you hear a chopper approaching, its searchlights illuminates the wrecked van and moves towards you. Uh-oh, keep a low profile and hold your fire, Diana. You know things are serious because Hope pockets her phone. She then disappears from sight. You look to D'Angelo, but he's not there. It must be his disappearing trick again. You're left alone with just seconds to make your move before the spotlight finds you. Seeing no better option, you find the nearest bush and dive right under it. It's probably not the best or smartest thing to do, but you've got to trust your gut. The illumination passes only inches away from you, but it's just a pattern of light on the ground. The trees block a good portion of it. It doesn't dwell on you. It doesn't seem like they've spotted you or any of your companions. The helicopter flies on, its searchlight frantically moving through the vicinity as your companions once again appear in your proximity. A team's in position and the perimeter's clear. Let's get moving before the Inquisition shows up again. The Inquisition? Pardon me, ma'am? Wait, the Second Inquisition? What do they have to do with anything? D'Angelo, feel free to fill them in while I keep an eye out for our ride, okay? Yes, I did a number on you. You've gotten raided and they took you for a ride upstate. They have a facility somewhere out town, not a place you want to be. The thing that surprised me the most, though, it was Kaiser who contacted us and let us know. Kaiser organized this whole effort? Why would he do that? Listen, kid, whatever his reasoning, I'm sure he'll expect something in return, so keep it cool. I don't want to get out of this in one piece the same way you do. Hi, time out, the cavalry's here. Ever had a chance to peek into Kaiser's limos? I hope the old fart had good ideas for a moving data fortress, because I'm about to steal them. Kaiser's familiar car stops nearby, and the back door opens. Your allies usher you inside, and you join. Being inside this mobile fortress never felt like a relief. Until now. Fledgling. Yes, me. Actually, yeah, I kinda did. Oh, that's so sweet. I hate to bring it to you, but I didn't take some liking to you. I'm your own business. On brand. You know a thing or two about that, wouldn't you, detective? You're here now only because I told your buddies that you were neck-deep in shit. That van you were in are one-way tickets to Hurtville, Pennsylvania. I broke you out as a favor, now you owe me. Big. Hope snorts. That's a funny gesture. Hurtville, Pennsylvania. What, you like it? Yeah, it's literally the funniest thing I've ever heard. Is there an Usina where you workshop these bits with other ancient demons? Can I get in? Everyone's a critic. How the hell did you know the SI broke into my haven and took me away? Is that a piss-poor attempt at an insult, fledgling? I've kept my eyes on you ever since the little job you did for me and no later. You know, in case I needed you for something else, I had to know your comings and goings. Yes, the rumors are true. The old fart is surprisingly good at keeping up with the information flow in the city, despite his age. Probably in the top 3. Gee, thanks, sugar. To be fair, you're probably in the top 10. He grins with what you assume is a lecherous smile. Hope seems only momentarily insulted by the top 10 remark. I have a good idea why the SI hit you, Diana. Not that there aren't tons of good reasons for it. It might have been one of these, for instance. The screen in Kaiser's car flickered, and etched on the now shows a short loop clip. It's you, getting into a fight, beating, using one of your powers. You haven't exactly kept a low profile, fledgling. I get it, you're new to this, you didn't know any better, yada yada yada. The fact is, the SI has tons of this stuff. Security camera footage, YouTube videos posted by onlookers, social media posts for victims, you name it. Like I said though, I don't think any one of these did you in. Slip-ups happen. But how though? Like, I wanted to be really careful and mindful of the Masquerade, but I feel like the game didn't really give me a chance to follow through with that. I don't know. Not to you though, right? I always wondered how it is that you can drive a pompously luxurious limo around NYC and not get caught. It's your secret. Buddy doubles, decoy calls. Kaiser smiles, going for that anthropomorphic piranha look you saw a few times before. You do know what killed the cat, don't you, Mr. Finch? D'Angelo freezes and scratches his face, looking fiercely at the other Nosferatu. You notice that his hands are shaking. Well, do you? Stop shedding on the upholstery and answer, or should I use your given name too? Yeah, I know why the cat croaked. You would, wouldn't you? You've never seen D'Angelo serve anyone a death stare quite like the one he is shooting Kaiser now. As much as I enjoy tempering your overinflated ego, we're nearing our destination, so I think I'll move on. The reason I need you walking and talking, Diana, is to test a hypothesis of mine. For that, I need you to finish what you were tasked to do. So, first things first. Here. He hands you a phone. The number has already been dialed. You hear the tone? Somebody picks up. Who is this? It's me, Sophie. Diane, are you okay? They're fine and dandy. Haza, what are you doing on this line? What do you think? It's my phone your protege is using, so keep it snappy. Operating a secure network ain't cheap. Come on, Diana, spit it out. Kaiser saved me from the seconding position, Sophie. I only got out because of him. Your companions look at one another dejectedly. Yes, sir? Oh, that's what I feared. Listen, the plan. We need to do it tonight. If the Inquisition is involved and you broke out, they'll be looking for you, so we can't meet public. I have a place in mind, but Kaiser, are you still listening? Would I tell you if I wasn't? Diana, call this number from where you visited before last we spoke. I'll come pick you up. She hangs up. And that's that. Riddles, 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 riddles. Secrets, 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 secrets. Can a girl got a hint here? You never did tell me what kind of work you did for Langley. Don't play coy, D'Angelo. You must have figured at least some of it out. Don't worry, we'll have plenty of time to compare notes after we let our mutual acquaintance continue with their night. If my intel is worth a damn, your next stop, Diana, is right about here. The car comes to a stop and the door opens. Outside, you see the street leading to Solids and Stripes, Torque's pool pub. Well, you need me to kick you out? What about Hope and D'Angelo? What about them? They're staying right where they are, and we're gonna have a little chat. After we're done, I'm sure they'll find their way back to their havens just fine. The clock is ticking. I think I know what Sophie wants to do tonight. And if I'm right, tonight's the last chance you've got. If you want to say bye to your buddies before you go, that's fine by me. But the schedule of yours is pretty hectic, so you'd better do it now, Miss Graham. You thank both of your companions for their assistance. Without them, you wouldn't be here now. Kaiser makes a gagging gesture and urges you to step out of the car. You turn around and make your way to the bar. The door closes behind you and Kaiser's limo starts moving again. You hope your companions won't have to pay too high of a price for helping you. The Solace and Stripes is pretty much abandoned tonight, with only the bartender and one bleary-eyed local watching an old Bogart movie on the bar screen. You ask to use the phone and call Sophie first. Yes. I'm at the bar. Good. We'll be there in 15 minutes. If Torque's not there, notify him. We need to move in fast. She hangs up. You tell the bartender to notify Torque, just as the Anarch leader mentioned you should. The man makes a short call. You only hear somebody picking up, but no words exchanged. The owner's on his way right now. Can I get you anything while you're waiting? Actually, do you serve the, special stuff? The bartender raises an eyebrow. The special reserve, you mean? Sorry, I can only serve that to a narrow selection of the owner's friends. Listen, it's been a rough night. Give me a break, please. Just a sip. I don't know, I really shouldn't. What the hell? You really do look like you need it. He takes out a bottle from a safe behind the counter and pours a bit of burn liquid into a glass. It's whiskey. There, enjoy. Your disappointment is palpable. At least the smell is nice. Torque comes in some 10 minutes later, without Mia. He tips his hat to you, puts a hand on the bleary-eyed patron's shoulder, and says something to him under his breath. They both laugh. Marty, how's the night going? Quite so. Just how you like it, huh? Torque notices the untouched glass with a bit of whiskey in it that you persuaded the bartender to pour. For me? You should have. He takes a glass and drinks the liquid, moving it around in his mouth before swallowing. He looks you in the eye. Sure, I won't keep it in forever, but the night when I don't enjoy the taste of good whiskey is the night when I will truly consider myself damned. Well, Diana, I believe you wanted me here for a reason. Let's hear it. You're about to tell him what brought you here, When the doors to the bar open and Sophie walks in, all splendor and charisma. The patron's eyes are glued to her, and so are the bartenders. Torque isn't happy with the sight. Well, this isn't what we agreed on, Diana. Care to explain? Things got complicated, and we had to improvise. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I believe Diana already told you why I'm here. Not in any detail, and the circumstances of our meeting were supposed to be different, so Miss Langley, tell me why I shouldn't ask you to leave and kick out your protege while I'm at it. You will like what I have to say. Yeah, I've heard that line 100 times, but 99 of those ended with somebody getting hurt, and that's not something I'm in the mood for tonight. We're wasting time. There's a unique opportunity we should take advantage of. We only have an hour or so to discuss it before it will be time to act. The driver's waiting outside. Wait a goddamn minute. First of all, I'm not going anywhere without Mia. That was the deal. Second, it's Diana who was supposed to do the driving, not your servant. Both serve me, so really, it's a little different. Circumstances change and we had to adapt. Don't be stubborn. Foolishness does not suit you. I have a secure spot in mind where we can talk. I'll stop you right there. Torque is seething, but he's keeping a lid on his anger. His voice barely changes. My conditions were very clear. The way I hear it, you want to break each one of them. I see no reason at all to agree to any of this. I believe I will be staying put tonight. You have places to be, yes? Torque, you're throwing away the only chance you have of challenging Callahan. Don't be a fool. The lid comes off. Call me a fool one more time, woman. And that's not the only thing I'm gonna be thrown. You're both acting like children. You need to put your differences aside and see the other's point of view. Both Sophie and Torque glare at you. No powers, just their personas are enough to make you feel like you prefer to be anywhere else but here. Who the fuck do you think you are? There's only one child here, Diana. You're their patron, Langley. What does that tell us? What are you implying, you insolent? Shots break the front windows, and a flashback goes off in the room, changing the bar into a space of white lights and ringing noise. You feel somebody tugging at your back, and are thrown behind the bar. More shots ring out, bottles break, the TV shatters into pieces, the wooden bar splinters. Your sight comes back, but you think you've gone deaf, because suddenly the room is silent. You see Torque beside you, and Marty, the bartender, bleeding out on the floor. You look over the bar. Sophie's standing there. Her dress is partially tattered, a visible hole in her leg. She's like the heart of a supernova, entrancing, unavoidable, beautiful, and terrifying. In front of her are 8 operatives looking like a private military force, just standing there, paralyzed by Sophie's magnificence. Torque, you still here? Yeah. Would you kindly show your guests some hospitality? Sure thing. The Anarch is gone in a blink of an eye, and he reappears next to one of the soldiers. The armor-clad operative's head disappears in a puff of blood and bone. The same thing happens to the second. The third you hear, the radios go off on the other soldier's shoulders, a panicked voice pleading him to wake up. The fourth head pops. The fifth. Next, get over! They finally realize what's happening, but it's too late. The 6th man is beheaded, and what you now see is just Torque's bare-fisted punch. Torque stops by the 7th man, grips something off his neck, and bites down. Sophie walks over to the last man and has him kneel in front of her before biting as well. On your right, a man in full-body armor emerges from the back door, raising his assault rifle. What the fuck? It's not smart, but it's what your instincts tell you to do. You jump in front of the soldier as he pulls the trigger. Bullets sink into your body, ripping and tearing your flesh, each projectile a micro-bomb exploding inside you. A combat knife crashes through the soldier's visor and into his skull. You turn around, Torque is grinning. He mouths something under his breath. Langley. Sophie wipes her mouth with blood and looks at him. That meeting's still an item? Yes.
I'll take it.
Splendid. Torque walks behind the bar and checks on the bartender. You see the Anarch open his own wrist and feed the blood to the wounded man.
Drink up, Marty. It'll make you feel better.
Get the hell out of here and wait for Mia. She's coming and she'll know what to do.
Torque?
Yeah, I'm coming. Take the back door, Diana. Come on. You slink back into an alley behind the bar, leaving 10 bodies and one grievously wounded ghoul behind. Nobody stops you from circling around the block and finding your way to Sophie's car. Gregory drives away casually, as if this was just another late-night drive and not the crowning of a desperate, complicated evening. Sophie brings you all to a luxurious apartment in Manhattan's Upper West Side. The way she explains it, the vampire who owned it left the city a few years ago and gave away his spare keys to a few trusted compatriots. It's been used sporadically since.
Fancy.
You like it? It always felt too modern for my taste, but what's important is that it's secure.
As long as nobody followed your car here, or the fledgling trouble follows this one wherever they go.
Even if that's the case, we have very little time to conduct our business here anyway, and we'll be leaving soon, I hope. So, let's begin. You look at Sophie, excited. Finally, you will learn what it is that you've been working towards for more than a week, and what it is that Kaiser wanted you to participate in. I have it on good authority that Boss Callahan is bloodbound to Prince Bannard.
Ooh.
Torque sucks in air loudly.
That's an accusation and a half there, Langley. Got proof?
No, but we're just a boat ride away from getting it.
What's that supposed to mean?
The entity address that I procured from Kaiser was a meeting spot for Bannard's and the Baron's regular sharing of blood and other bodily fluids, if the rumors are true.
Wait, Kaiser knew about this?
Is there anything that insufferable clump of dead skin doesn't know in this city? He knows things, but only shares them if you pay. Neither the Prince or Callahan can touch him. It's too useful. Kaiser said something about having plans for me, that he wanted me to make this meeting happen. That can't be good, right? That is an interesting point. I think Kaiser might be as interested in shaking up the status quo as we are. Chaotic landscape makes for a great market for him, unlike a static one. I don't like playing into that creep's hands, but at least now I know that I'm doing it. The devil you know and all that. What's the address he gave you? They meet regularly on Ellis Island. In fact, their next scheduled meeting starts in just around half an hour.
What then? I'm guessing you want to crash that meeting. Why?
So you can see the proof for yourself, so that I can make sure too, and so that I have an extra pair of eyes for Panhard to consider when I present to her my ultimatum. The Prince must abandon her seat and leave New York City. She can go wherever she pleases, but if she stays, the entire court will know, and the next prince might not look favorably on her past. Dealing with Anarchs, especially so closely, is a punishable offense to the Camarilla, as I'm sure you've heard.
So I did.
Torque strokes his beard and looks intently at Sophie.
What exactly are you trying to accomplish here? Say you remove Panhard, and I even remove Callahan, then what?
Torque, did you ever wonder why Callahan is keeping you in check? Because I wondered why Prince condemns Anarchs during your visit to Elysium, but doesn't allow the Ivory Tower to challenge you. So, or they have engineered the status quo, not for the good of their sex, but for private gain. They keep us all in line because it lets them hold on to power that much longer.
And your goal is what? Make this Cold War turn hot?
Not a great plan. Your camis will get your butts kicked out of NYC in no time. If you Anarchs manage to organize, which I doubt you will, at any rate, it's a risk I'm willing to take. I don't stand alone in this. This entire operation has been years in the making. Torque, I'm offering you a chance to square things with Callahan and level the playing field. If we get rid of these two, We can start on equal footing at the next stage of this dance macabre. Do I factor into this plan at all? Yes, we will be taking you with us to Ellis Island, both as another set of eyes to witness the Prince and Baron in the act, and as a bit of added security. I don't think Elaine or Callaghan would dare lay finger on me. They will not find me unprepared. You know, after all those years spent in Callahan's shadow and taking part in all the kindred dick measuring contests, I should expect a ruse employed to kill me in an out-of-the-way place. That's our inherent paranoia talking. My gut tells me it's time to get the show started. I do hope you have a boat nearby, Langley. Sophie smiles mischievously. Of course I do. It's waiting for us by the pier. Lead the way then. Moonlight's burning. The three of you leave the apartment and walk towards the pier. Nobody seems to be following you. You get on a small patrol boat and double time it through the Hudson's cold, dark waters. Out of all the places in NYC where the Prince and the Baron could meet, and it's Ellis Island, a landmark with a dark past, a museum on one hand, a dilapidated piece of history on the other. You leave the boat and make your way to the southern parts of the island, paying no heed to the renovated tourist attraction on the northern side. You expected some resistance, a night guard, a helicopter flying overhead, maybe an NYPD patrol boat. Nothing. The island seems completely deserted. It's clear this sets Sophie on edge. She's moving as quietly and subtly as ever, but you can see that she's eager to reach a particular house. Her intel pointed out. Torque is following suit, grimly determined, flashing his piercing gaze all over, still clearly uncertain that this isn't some kind of con. Finally, you see it. Light coming from a window in one of the buildings at the edge of the island. The three of you slowly creep closer to the building and take a look inside the window. There it is. Callahan kneeling in front of the prince, sucking on Pennard's wrist. Both fully clothed, a small blessing. Torque makes his move, and before Sophie can stop him, he bursts through the building's doors. It all happens very quickly. Torque grabs Callahan by the shoulders and throws him through the still open door. Callahan hits the ground. Hard. Torque appears on top of him and starts punching. You fucker, you piece of shit! Stop! The prince's voice takes hold for just long enough to make Torque relent, which the Baron uses to the fullest. He shoves Torque off of himself and tries to bite down. Prince, call off your lapdog. Langley, what is the meaning of this? The two Anarchs break apart, both wounded, but neither is quite done yet. They look at one another with pure hatred. Kill the bitch, Helene! But leave the fledgling to me! Right after I deal with this shit stain, I'm gonna... A shrill, unpleasant laugh fills the air. You know who it belongs to. So entertaining, truly. I feel almost ashamed to break off this spectacle, but alas. Hans? Who the fuck is this joker? Ah, yes, I don't think we met, though I did hear a lot about you, Mr. Torque. My name is Thomas Arturo, and Callahan uses this moment of uncertainty to strike. He's still too slow for Torque, who throws the boss onto the lawn, where the two exchange blows once again. Oh, Elaine. If you'd be so kind to ask your friend not to hurt our guest too much. Callahan, don't kill him. This time Callahan comes out on top and grabs Torque in an iron hold. Your companion struggles, but can't quite break away. I will not be denied, Elaine. Not this time. You will do as I command. And she will do as I command her, Douglas, old boy. What? Like I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted. I feel like I need to break up this little spectacle. It's been going on for much too long. You think you're so smart, Langley? You and your clique figured out that there was something fishy going on all on your own. But you were always working with just a piece of the puzzle. Wasn't she, Diana?
Sophie looks at you, shocked and disappointed. What I'm talking about, you ask? You fledgling. You don't know. How could you? Only I knew. And your sire, of course. They're the one who agreed to embrace you after some negotiations. You hear a scream and a curse. It's Callahan, whose arm has been nearly ripped off his body. Torque breaks out the Baron's grasp, but doesn't continue the attack. Instead, he is at the edge of the water in a blink of an eye and disappears into the Hudson. The only trace left of him is his fedora. Another actor going off script at the very end. No matter. Let's bring us some amusement now that the production is almost wrapped up. He'd reach his allies. He'll tell everyone of this. Elaine, even if we naively assume, his knights aren't numbered now that he's in the SI's sight. This show must go on one way or another. It won't hurt to encourage leaks and speculation. Sophie looks at you. How could you, Diana? I saved you. Arturo suddenly appears next to her and slaps her in the face. Likely. What happened to your self-esteem? You can't really think a simple neonate has outplayed you. Or maybe this oblivious act is your way of groveling for mercy? Tell us. So what? You thought that being an expert chess player would always be enough. You never realized that people at the top simply flip the chessboard over and punch you in the face whenever they don't like how the game is going. He motions to the remaining kindred. But the thing is, you weren't even adept at playing the game you knew. Diana? Just another pawn. Placed on the board by my associate. You thought they were your piece since you took them in. But who gave you that idea? You returned to the night where you were judged by Prince Panard. A woman in red, Sophie. Somebody speaking to her, a man in glasses. The man standing before you now. This is cruel. We know what's going to happen. If only somebody would speak up for the poor child. They could be a useful tool for the Camarilla. Terror creeps onto Sophie's face. Of course, those are not the words you heard, were they? No. You were already grasping for some opportunity to further your scheme. I put the bait out, and you took it. Hook, line, and sinker. After that, it was only a matter of time before you started using Diana as your errand girl. No one is quite as easy to track and monitor as a naive fledgling, who's just learning the ropes. What is it that you want, Thomas? What do I want? Oh boy. The answer is so simple, but so hard to put into words. Unstable stability. Cutting-edge tales of thrills and intrigue that push you to the limit, and then return you to the tired and tested status quo, gently, infallibly. A system full of distractingly moving parts, which simulate conflicts so convincingly that its user never feel the need to direct their energy towards upsetting the system. Achieving the eternal thought, the disposable, building a city that's like a ship of Theseus, constantly changing its parts, yet always maintaining the same purpose, serving the same goal at all times. A large-scale infrastructure that has something just like an exhaust system for the spirit. Something that disperses the toxicity around instead of concentrating it in a single place. None of what you're saying makes the slightest bit of sense. Arturo is momentarily stopped in his tracks. He stares into the sky for a few seconds before a sad grin appears on his face. Spoken like someone who's never really had what it takes to make it in the big leagues. With a theatrical snap of fingers, he gives his last sentence a sense of finality. Something changed in the air. You could swear you saw a shadow move behind Sophie. Goodbye, Sophie. A person appears behind Sophie and you can't believe your eyes. It's Adelaide Davis, holding garden shears in her hands. Sophie, I'm so sorry. You hear the shears snip. Sophie's red hair conceals her face as her head falls, separated from her shoulders.
Silence. Arturo's unpleasant laughter erupts right next to you. Oh, Diana, your career is moving at a breakneck pace. Moving up, 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 and up. Let me congratulate you on your promotion. What do you want from me? What's the rush? I was about to get to that. Helene, feel free to leave us and take the Baron with you. Thomas, I don't think you should... Shush, you're just being jealous, Adelaide. Escort the prince and dear old Douglas, please. Sure thing, darling. You're left alone next to Sophie's body. You try not to look, but it's hard to ignore her lithe frame decomposing in front of your eyes. Congratulations, you've won this little game. You set out on a suicide mission and successfully brought down the power-hungry wannabe tyrant. Even if it probably wasn't the way you imagined it. Now you're free to enjoy paradise again. Life after death, immortality, eternal youth. What they don't tell you is, of course, living in paradise is inherently sinful when not everyone can partake, but you have time to learn how to live with sin, don't you? He takes a melancholic look at the city skyline surrounding him, the Statue of Liberty and the lights of Manhattan shimmering in the distance. You know, New York taught me to believe in fate. My own life began right here, and it began with utter despair. My first instinct was to draw myself in books and keep reading, and reading until literature gave me the piece of wisdom I needed to go on. Personally, I find reading a silly hobby in retrospect. I always had this minuscule hope that the next sentence I'd read could finally bring me salvation, but it never did. It only gave me fuel for this elevated, righteous, intellectual suffering. But the more I read, the easier it was for me to boil every paragraph down to a power relationship. The characters' influence over each other, the writer trying to impress the reader, etc. Strings everyone pulls started to look like strands that weave into the fabric of fate. And once I saw its beauty, I got teary-eyed. My architect instincts kicked into overdrive. I didn't have to submit to fate. All I had to do was cooperate with it and wait for my time to shine. Give it my input wherever needed until it trusted me to do more. Thomas steps over what's left of Sophie, wiping his glasses with an elegant cloth from his pocket. And it did. Fate let me look after the city with my architect's tools. I started quietly shaping the streets and corridors, while Kaiser and his ilk shaped the information flow. Kaiser. And among many tools this process gave me, one of them as a way to reliably come up with useful agents like you. The methods I used were crude at times, but the route was there. All I had to do was follow it. Some people write rulebook passages, the others plant city arteries. In the end, the effect is the same. Someone always follows. He pulls out the glasses and gives you a long, hard look. You know, I've grown fond of you. You did so well. Even when that idiot Callahan tipped the Inquisition off, you still got out. I like that kind of resourcefulness. I could use that kind of resourcefulness. He uncovers his wrist. So take my blood. Just enough so we can start off on the right foot, as a sign of good faith. A sign that you're ready to play in the big league, ready to behold the sights I've prepared for you. What do you say, Diana? Absolutely, I will do this. We went through? We want to be with people with power? Yes, we're doing it. I didn't even get to say yes! Oh my god! Okay, so we didn't get to check out the gangrel. Guess we can't go back to that now. Okay. Okay. Right, I want to know what's gonna happen next. Yeah, definitely gonna play the Shadows of New York. I think it's Shadows of New York that follows this one because I want to see where this story goes. It was kind of getting a bit repetitive, and I was kind of losing interest towards the end until this last bit. They completely got my attention. I was ready to continue with this, and now it's done. So, yeah, definitely gonna have to play the next one. Well, thank you for playing. No, thank you for making the game. Yeah. Oh my god, I can't even go back to a previous game to see if maybe I could do the different options. It would just have to start over. Okay, so that's what happened. This is what's going on. Okay, so Sophie's dead. We're moving up there with the big boys, I think. I hope. This could be a trick too, for all I know. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna be playing the next one because I really want to see what happens in the story. So, yeah. There you go. This is the ending of Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. I hope you liked it. Leave a like on this video if you liked it. Leave a comment down below with what you would do. Would you get blood bonded by him, or would you refuse? Would you go play with the big boys, or would you become an Anarch? I want to know what you would do, so leave it down below. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll game with you later. Bye!